What if emotional maturity could be measured not by how much you can handle, but by how many things no longer have the power to control your energy? Think about how easily a normal day can be hijacked. Someone misunderstands you and you spend an hour rehearsing explanations. Someone criticizes your decision and suddenly you feel the need to defend yourself. Someone succeeds before you, and their achievement somehow becomes evidence that you're falling behind. Someone sends a cold message, and your mind creates 10 different explanations for what it means. The instinct is almost automatic. React, explain, defend, compare, prove. But emotional maturity introduces a different question. Is this actually worth my energy? If you enjoy exploring psychology, human behavior, and the hidden patterns shaping your life, consider subscribing. That's exactly what we explore here. One of the first things emotionally mature people stop wasting energy on is trying to be understood by everyone. There is nothing wrong with explaining yourself. Communication matters. But sometimes explanation quietly becomes a request for approval. You keep searching for better words because you're hoping the other person will finally say, "Okay, now I agree with you." Maturity is recognizing when someone doesn't understand you, and when they simply disagree with you. Those are different problems. Not everyone has to understand your choices for those choices to be valid. And once you accept that, another exhausting habit begins to disappear. The need to win every argument. Some disagreements begin with an actual issue but quickly become competitions. You stop listening to understand and start listening for something you can defeat. Then the original subject almost disappears. Now it's about who gets the final word. Emotionally mature people understand something important. You can win an argument and still lose your peace. Sometimes saying, "I see this differently," and walking away isn't weakness. It's recognizing that not every disagreement deserves a courtroom. The same principle applies to other people's opinions. Most of us want to be seen accurately. But trying to control how everyone sees you is an impossible job. People interpret you through their own experiences, expectations, insecurities, and values. You can behave with integrity and still be misunderstood. You can be kind and still be disliked. You can make the right decision for your life and still disappoint someone. Your responsibility is your behavior. Their interpretation belongs partly to them. And this leads to something more difficult. Emotionally mature people stop taking responsibility for everyone's emotions. Imagine setting a reasonable boundary and someone becomes disappointed. For many people, guilt appears immediately. They're upset, so maybe I did something wrong. But another person's discomfort isn't automatic proof of your wrongdoing. Maturity means learning the difference between empathy and emotional responsibility. You can care that someone is disappointed without abandoning your boundary. You can listen to someone's feelings without making yourself responsible for fixing all of them. Of course, when you genuinely hurt someone, maturity means taking responsibility, apologizing, and changing your behavior. But that's very different from believing your job is to keep everyone comfortable. Sometimes a healthy no will disappoint someone. Can still be healthy. Emotionally mature people also stop wasting enormous amounts of energy trying to fix people who don't want to change. This is especially painful when you care about them. You see their patterns. You see what those patterns are costing them. So you explain. You encourage. You forgive. You think, maybe if I'm patient enough, they'll finally see it. But eventually you discover a difficult boundary. You cannot do another person's inner work for them. You can support someone who is changing. You cannot manufacture their willingness to change. There is a difference between helping someone climb and carrying someone who refuses to stand. And recognizing that difference can save years of emotional exhaustion. Another thing mature people gradually release is the need to receive perfect closure. Sometimes a relationship ends, but mentally you're still inside it. You're waiting for an apology, an explanation, an admission, one final conversation that makes everything make sense. Without realizing it, you've made your peace dependent on someone else's participation. But what happens if that conversation never comes? Sometimes closure isn't something another person gives you. Sometimes it's the moment you stop requiring a different ending from something that has already ended. If this point feels familiar, tell me in the comments which of these patterns has taken the most energy from you. And if you're finding value in this video, leave a like. It helps more people discover these conversations. Then there is comparison. Emotionally mature people stop treating someone else's timeline as evidence that they're behind. Someone your age gets married. Someone earns more money. Someone builds the career you wanted. Someone seems completely certain about where they're going. And suddenly their progress becomes a judgment about yours. But comparison almost always removes context. You're comparing your private uncertainty with someone else's visible achievement. Mature people can look at another person's success and learn from it without turning it into evidence of their own inadequacy. Someone else's timing doesn't define yours. The same maturity changes your relationship with the past. Emotionally mature people still experience regret, but they learn the difference between reflection and rumination. Reflection asks, "What can I learn from this?" Rumination asks the same painful question repeatedly without producing new information. Why did I do that? Why didn't I leave sooner? Why didn't I notice? At some point, the past has given you all the information it can give. If you need to apologize, apologize. If something can be repaired, repair it. If a pattern needs to change, change it. But continuing to punish yourself doesn't rewrite history. It only gives history permission to keep occupying the present. And perhaps one of the biggest misconceptions about maturity is that mature people don't experience difficult emotions. They do. They feel jealousy, anger, fear, sadness, insecurity. The difference is that they stop treating every emotion as an instruction. Anger can be real without requiring an immediate reaction. Fear can exist without automatically meaning you should retreat. Jealousy can reveal something you want without becoming a reason to resent someone. Sadness can be felt without needing to escape it immediately. Instead of asking, "How do I stop feeling this?" emotional maturity asks, "What is this feeling trying to show me?" Emotions can carry information without becoming your commander. And all of this leads to perhaps the biggest source of wasted emotional energy: trying to control what was never yours to control. Other people's reactions. Whether someone likes you. Whether someone changes. The past. Every possible outcome. Whether life unfolds according to your schedule. Emotionally mature people gradually learn to separate control from influence. They ask, "What actually belongs to me here?" My response belongs to me. My boundaries belong to me. My attention belongs to me. My behavior belongs to me. What I do next belongs to me. But someone else's reaction? Not entirely mine. The outcome after I've done what I reasonably can? Not entirely mine. The past after I've learned from it? Not mine to rewrite. And when you look closely, these 10 things are connected. Trying to be understood. Winning arguments. Managing opinions. Carrying people's emotions. Fixing people. Chasing closure. Comparing timelines. Replaying the past. Fighting emotions. Trying to control outcomes. They're different expressions of the same exhausting impulse. Giving your energy to something that doesn't fully belong to you. So the next time something starts consuming your mind, ask yourself, can I control this? Can I influence it? Can I learn from it? Does it actually require a response? And will this deserve the same amount of energy a month from now? Emotional maturity doesn't mean nothing bothers you anymore. It doesn't mean becoming cold. And it doesn't mean suppressing your emotions until you appear calm. It means becoming harder to emotionally hijack. Not because nothing matters, but because you've learned what deserves to matter. You stop giving every opinion a vote, every provocation a response, every mistake a lifetime sentence, every emotion control over your next decision, and every person unlimited access to your energy. So ask yourself one final question. What are you still giving energy to that no longer deserves access to you? Share your answer in the comments, and if this video gave you something worth thinking about, leave a like. Then click the video appearing on your screen right now. We'll continue exploring the psychology behind the patterns quietly shaping your life. I'll see you there.